Welcome to the Orange Flag podcast. The Bathurst 12 hours was 11 hours of chaos. But first, another cycling instructor for Auston. I'm Aries.
I'm Auston.
I'm Nicole, and yes, part 2 of Find a Cycling Instructor for Oz is Jack Aiken, because he definitely rides a bike, but I think he rides a little less and less intensely than Larry, so maybe he's a bit more realistic of a teacher?
Maybe. Once again, the qualifications are just won't let me crash into a bridge and won't let me crash into a cow. So qualifications are very low. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go to last episode.
Yes.
It will make more sense.
Catch up and listen to last week's episode after you're done with this one.
But yes, Jack, are you interested in helping Auston learn to ride a bike at Sebring? Because we're unsure if Larry is interested, so we need to continue asking other drivers if they are interested.
Also, if you are willing to teach me, just let me know if I need to bring a bike or if bike is provided.
Yeah, that's the part we're not sure about with Larry.
Yeah. And I don't know if there's a place near the track to rent a bike. So, I have to look into that.
I'm sure there's somewhere.
I'm sure
in
there
Florida,
is.
all of Florida, to be able to
Yeah.
rent a bike.
Yes, but I'm saying, would be good to know beforehand
Yes.
the specifications
definitely.
of what needs to be brought.
I'd say I could bring my bike, but that would be just as unhelpful as Larry letting you use his bike, because it also has clipless pedals and drop bars and is a road bike. So, not
We're
very
just gonna
useful.
throw me into the extreme, basically.
No.
Look, obviously, I don't have a bike on the fact of, the fact I obviously need bike lessons probably means I don't have a bike. We'll figure it out.
Get a bike and bring it to both races, and we'll just find somebody to teach you.
I'm very tempted to just get a kid's bike.
Like with training wheels?
Yes.
I don't judge you because I would end up in the same situation. If you missed last week's episode, I said I can't do it. Like, Oz has experience. I can't do it because I have no balance.
I have balance.
I don't.
Sure.
But, it's been a while since a bike. My balance was dedicated to rowing boats and not tipping them.
That's my bike. So, yeah, that would not be all that helpful.
But I'm thinking kid's bike, because then I can easily take the training wheels off.
You could, yes.
But also, I just think it would be funny if, for example, the bike was Paw Patrol, because this is the only kids show I can think of.
There's a picture of Larry on a bike that I took at Coda.
I do remember that. But yes, Jack, hit me up if you're down for bike lessons. Once again, we're back with my favorite Estre, Dylan Estre, and the fact that he has a seat and it's been announced now.
Yay.
Yes, it was announced that he's going to be doing Carrera Cup France with the GP racing team. Not gonna lie, hadn't heard about them before, but based on, looking at their Instagram, it looks like they did the Ultimate Cup series last year, and now they're gonna do Carrera Cup, so that's cool. Always willing to learn about new teams if they're a team that a driver I support is going to drive for, so go Dylan and go GP racing team.
I will say, the car, if it's the one in the announcement photos, Dylan, keep your helmet because it matches the car well, because the car does have pink.
Yeah.
I do like a bit of pink. I think it's very well documented. Speaking of,
yes. Speaking of pink and Estre's.
Oh dear gosh.
My Oak Racing car showed up.
I knew this was going to feature.
No, this is going to be the most ridiculous thing to rock up to Sebring with to get Chris Cumming to sign. I guess I'm gonna have to get
reaction.
I guess I'm gonna have to get Larry and Kevin to sign it. I mean, I don't have to at Sebring, but
it's at some point during the year you must, because that's probably the randomest thing.
Well, they both know and have reacted to the fact that I'm in possession of this because I posted it online and they both responded. But no, I think this is still way more ridiculous.
Oh, yes. But I like how I literally saw that, sent it to you, and you were like, I am getting this right away.
It goes with the car, like it's the same scale as the car. So I could set up all the little guys with the car. But yes, that is my collection of random stuff to have Larry and Kevin sign. This is the secret other item for Kevin to sign, but it's a secret. So yeah, you don't know what this is. This is like a total secret. It may come to Sebring, it may not.
We're getting mysterious tonight.
Yes. It's total secret.
I like a bit of mystery.
I mean, Nick already knows the secrets for my part of Sebring, but she doesn't know her part of the secret totally. So
you literally were like, which color corgi do you want for your little corgi? So I'm pretty sure I'm getting a corgi.
Like. You don't know what it looks like.
Yeah.
So therefore you don't know.
Since I'm sick, I'm going to take the opportunity of drinking game to hydrate myself.
This is when I realized
I don't have a cup of water tonight because I forgot.
I was going to say, this is when I look and realize the 2 cups of water that I have here are empty.
Nice.
I was too busy tying my flag around my neck. Anyway.
Don't you mean your right racing suit?
Yeah, that's brilliant. I mean, they're paying homage to Brazil. I love them for it. Okay.
Back on track after I got distracted by, a car that Kevin drove 11 years ago.
Yes.
Yes.
Your distraction is sort of a lead on to what we're coming to, because it is LMP2 news. From one Frenchman to the other, Tower Motorsports, Sebastian Bourdais did the Rolex 24 with them, but it turned out to be his last race with them. And in his place, they're putting, as I said, another Frenchman in the shape of Tristan Vautier. So he's done a bunch of LMP2ing all around, like he was just in the Asian Le Mans series a couple of weeks ago. So he knows how to wrangle an LMP2 car around. It will be fun to see.
Yeah, he also knows about filling in for IMSA teams last minute, because he had to do it for MSR at Petit.
Yeah, he knows how to fill in for a 4-time IndyCar champion.
Yeah.
That's a great little piece of trivia. This driver has filled in for 2 separate 4-time IndyCar champions.
Yes. Just saying, he knows a thing or two about it. I'm interested to see how it goes. It's gonna be fun. I will completely admit, when I thought of names expected to fill in, he didn't come to mind, but then when he was announced, I was like, that makes so much sense. So.
Yeah, he's a really good pick by them.
Yeah. Well, today we're recording on the 16th. This is getting released on the 18th. In between that is the 17th, if you can do math. And 17th is Matt's birthday, so on the day of recording, happy early birthday, Matt, but on the day you'll hear this, happy late birthday, Matt, so you're getting both.
In theory, if we take into consideration his place of birth, it's technically the 17th over there, even though he's not there, right?
I mean, if we assume that he's in Europe, which is probably a decent assumption, although they are testing over here like in 2 days, so he might be in the US. I was actually wondering whether him and Lauren are even gonna be at the Sebring test, because God, that's a time zone switch.
That it is.
I assume they will be, just because, you know, feeling how the new car is at Sebring for Matt and any more seat time in the car for Lauren is kind of important. So I assume that all 6 of them will be at the test, but I wouldn't be shocked if all 6 of them are not at the test.
Yeah. Those 2, especially if they aren't there, I'd be like, makes
totally
sense.
Understandable. Totally understandable.
Totally
but
understandable.
Yes, it is in Europe. It is currently tomorrow, so.
Yeah, so.
If he's in Europe
possibly.
or Australia, happy birthday, Matt Campbell.
Yeah, happy birthday, Matt. Whether it's early, on time, or late.
We got all the bases covered.
I was gonna say, we've covered all the bases.
Where is Matt? He's here somewhere. There he is. Matt. Well, I have 2 Larrys and then 5 other cards, so.
One has to be Matt.
But yes, the reason that Lauren Heinrich and Matt Campbell might be really tired if they rock up to Sebring 2 days from now is because they were in Australia, doing a little endurance race, the Bathurst 12-hour.
Little endurance.
Just a little endurance race.
Just a wee bit.
So they, I'm not gonna say they didn't do well, but they didn't do great. High Class Racing, which was a bronze entry, was the top Porsche in the race. They came P2 overall and first in the bronze class, which was very, like, what the heck? Until Manti Racing was like, hey, we provided engineering support for High Class. Okay, that all makes sense now.
Yes.
Literally, when that came across my feed, I was like, oh, everything adds up now.
Yeah.
It's the racing equivalent to the Scooby-Doo meme when they do the reveal. Like, oh, it was them all along.
I just don't understand how that wasn't mentioned at all during the weekend. Like,
yes.
Did nobody know that? Was that like a big reveal on Manti's Instagram stories? Like, to everybody? Because I don't remember that being mentioned at all.
No. Was all of the, like, Manti personnel that were there, because I'm assuming there were people there, just, like, in costumes so they could, like, not be detected?
Because normally when Manti's somewhere, they are very, like, Manti'd out. Like,
yes,
it is very clear that Manti's there. So.
That's why I'm like, were they also in those inflatable koala costumes? Because a lot of teams had those.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe they set up their Black Ops division, Manti Skunk Works or something, and I don't know, they're gonna start doing that to avoid drawing attention.
All of the koala...
Nobody was expecting a second place overall from High Class.
No.
Just saying.
No.
But
Actually, it wasn't crazy pace that they had. It was just, which again, knowing now that it was Manti makes sense. It was just absolute operational excellence from the team, which it's like, this is High Class, their first time at the mountain. How were they the operationally excellent team, but it's not Mantai's first rodeo? So, yeah.
No. Also, the other Porsche teams just all had issues of some sort, so.
It's bad luck, honestly. It all came down to just bad luck with when safety cars came out.
Yes, which stewarding in general for this race, I feel like, is the big discussion of it. So let's get into that.
It did get people full of question marks and outraged screams on social media, because that's where I was paying attention to, at least. Like, obviously the biggest incident of the whole race, the whole deal with the 77 Mercedes Rolf Aaron striking stationary Porsche at the Dipper, which, shouldn't have happened in the first place. So, like, there were no yellow flags. I think it should have been an immediate safety car, at least. Like, bro, when they deploy the safety car in Australia, at least for Bathurst, at least, everybody immediately needs to.
It immediately neutralizes. Yeah.
Yes. And I think as Bathurst is good at it.
As soon as the Auston started, because prior to the Auston moving, the angle that everybody's screenshotting really doesn't show how much space there was in the angle that everybody's seeing to the right, but to driver's left of where the Auston and the Porsche were. So you're coming around, and there's honestly, on the racing line, a huge gap to the left of the Auston and the Porsche. It was when the Auston started trying to limp its way around the Porsche that it became an issue, because they come around, they see right in their field of vision, oh, there's a stopped car, which is the Auston. And that was, okay, we'll go to the right. That's completely blind. That's where the 79 was. So,
exactly.
they'll let cars just kind of sit there for a second if they're not fully blocking, which, again, I don't have a massive issue with the slight delay on throwing it when the two cars were stacked. The problem is that the Auston stupidly started trying to move right as the leaders were coming up. Had the Auston waited until the leaders went by, all the leaders go by, because everyone's single file in that portion anyways. Nobody's coming in too wide. Everybody's single file. You can see that open part of the track. You can't see where the 79 was, but you can see that portion of the track where the Auston ended up being. Everybody goes through single file, and then the Auston can try to limp by. I think that would have been okay. The problem is the Auston went and fully blocked the track. And I think that needs to be addressed, honestly, just as much as the flagging, just as much as the decision not to throw the safety car. The decision by that team, knowing that the leaders were coming up, because they absolutely would have known where the leaders are, to say, hey, let's try and get around a stopped car. No, you wait until the leaders go by to do.
I also think my issue of why I kind of agree that immediate safety car, the fact that the 79 is stopped in a portion that is a blind area when you come around that area where the leaders were coming from. Sure, it's technically not the racing line, but it is a blind area where you wouldn't be able to see that afterwards, is why I almost feel like an immediate safety car makes sense. What also is an issue with the flagging of this is so many drivers had different things to say about the flagging. Some were saying they saw multiple yellow flags leading up to it.
Yeah, like Morrow said he saw multiple yellow flags. Like, he
Jordan
fully
Pepper
knew that's why he was able to respond so well. He knew he was coming up on a mess.
Jordan Pepper
he saw green.
He was having... So Jordan Pepper, what he specifically said was he saw yellow, that it flashed to green, and then it kept flashing in between yellow, green, yellow, green. When he got to the area where the actual crash was, it was green on his display. So the fact that we aren't even having consistency amongst drivers of what their displays were saying to them is another issue in and of itself.
Yeah. Yeah, the fact that multiple drivers all have extremely different recollections of the flag, because, like, when you look at Morrow's reaction, what he's saying makes sense. Yep, it was yellow, I knew I was coming up to something. He had the best reaction of anybody through there, I would say. And, you know, that was after the big crash he picked through there. And it makes sense if he knew that something was coming up, he already would be on high alert. So when a crash happens in front of him, he's already ready to be in avoidance mode. And then there's what I think might be the biggest issue of the whole thing. The 77 was having major radio issues. And it's not like the whole field was having radio issues. The 77 was having radio issues, like to the point where they attempted to make a pit stop, the team wasn't ready, and they waved them through. At that track, specifically, that needs to be a meatball flag. You cannot have a car going around Mount Panorama without radio communication. You just can't. There are too many blind corners. There's too much, at stake.
It's just even wildlife. There's reasons why for this track specifically, you need a radio, and not having it, and it being very well known that the 77 didn't have it, or at least was having issues with it continuously throughout. For them not to do anything about that, needs to be a bigger discussion. All of this needs to be addressed, because none of this should have happened.
There are a bunch of little things that, had they gone differently, probably would have, not had this happen. Now, like, that Auston crew, it was their first time on the mountain. That needs to be addressed. Knowing something as simple as, hey, I know you want to stay on the lead lap. You don't want to be behind the leaders, but that is a safety issue. Don't get into a point where you could block the whole track. Something as little as, had they meatball flagged the Auston earlier, the 77 Mercedes earlier, that may not have, because Ralph may have known that there was a car coming up, because other drivers did. Other drivers were having their race engineers screaming on the radio, hey, there's a car blocking the track. It hasn't actually been confirmed that Ralph didn't get radio communication, but I think it's generally a safe assumption.
Yeah. Also important to point out, this is also Ralph's first time racing the mountain too.
But Ralph didn't do anything wrong.
Ralph didn't do anything wrong.
The Auston did something wrong. Ralph didn't. Ralph did exactly what he should have done. He saw a car on the racing line and went to avoid them.
Yeah.
He did exactly what he should have done.
For anybody wanting more context, that's just another context for you. But he did exactly what he needed to do. There has been an update of today from Ralph himself that he has 2 fractures in his back. And he very much so said in his post on Instagram that, like, he wants to sit down and meet with race control and go over.
He wants to know what happened.
Incident. Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't even sound like he's mad. He just wants to know what happened. Yeah,
like he wants to sit down with race control and he wants to go over everything that happened, just to know. Which I think he has every right to want that. I also think another, like, cool thing was, like, his teammates riding over with him in the ambulance, like, to there, and they stayed with him until like until like today, it seems like, apparently too. But yeah, he's going to be in Australia for a little bit because of his injuries from the impact, which I will say was very scary to see him crawling out of the car while on the track to like get to the other side of the track while cars are still actively driving on the track too. So just a whole lot of things that just weren't great about this situation.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with the assessment. It wasn't like a big thing. It was just a collection of little occurrences that all added up at the worst possible time and shouldn't have happened in the first place. But hopefully this is an eye-opener so we don't see this again, like not just at Bathurst, but anywhere else.
Yeah, and obviously wishing Ralph a good recovery as well.
Yeah, definitely. The race, I mean, like Aries said in the intro, was just 11 hours of chaos because it was obviously red flagged for an hour after that incident. But it was what, the second time that the winner has come from outside the top 10, and not only did the winner come from outside the top 10, but the first and second overall cars both came from like the very back of the field. They both started in the 30s, I believe.
Yeah, usually Bathurst, when it comes to long endurance races, a lot of times we're like, your qualifying spot doesn't really matter. Bathurst is really one where like your qualifying position usually does matter. So for this to be a race where your podium was two cars that were 29th and 30th was definitely very interesting.
Yeah,
because
if
something
you're not
we see a lot.
familiar with Mount Panorama, it doesn't have a ton of passing opportunities. Really only like 2 or 3 passing opportunities per lap. And because of the series that it's in, you don't really have, barring a team screwing up in the pits, there is a mandatory 80-second pit stop. So you can't short fuel, you can't be quicker with, your driver change. It is an 80-second pit stop, period. You can obviously make up ground by getting your strategy better, or by lucking out with when, because it's a guarantee that there are going to be safety cars. It's not if, it's a when at Bathurst. So, it is very much a track position race, which I think really determined the outcome in this race. So with that final restart with Jules and Kelvin, it was like they were both going for it because that might have been it. Whichever one of them came out ahead was going to win the race.
Yes.
And it turned out neither of them came out ahead because they crashed into each other.
That they did, which, like, not surprised with who was in the cars.
That is how Kelvin races,
Exactly.
He is an all-out guy. And I mean, I can't criticize him for that. Can't criticize Jules for it either. I completely get why they did what they did. A little less on Jules because we knew that the BMW was going to be on a mega fuel save to make it to the end of the race. I think that the Merc was going to get them. I think both Mercs were going to get them no matter what. But, I completely understand why Jules made the decision he did in that moment. Because, it is a very hard track once you're a second and a half back to ever make that time up. So if the BMW had gotten away, it was going to get away. And I did not want BMW winning that race, so I was okay. I'm more okay with the fact that Maro Engel won the race than had BMW won the race. So
I'm okay with Maro Engel winning the race and a Merc winning the race because the three of them did Shoeys on the podium, and perfect, very fitting for this race. So they all get a round of applause. A+ for the commitment.
I still think it's
absolutely.
I still think it's a bit ironic. Like Mercedes qualified. Obviously, I feel like everybody thought Mercedes were the cars to beat this weekend because they kind of qualified 1, 2, 3. But in the end, the winner was a Mercedes that started P29. So while everybody else either took each other out, or because we did have a bit of a Mercedes civil war, or were involved in a clash with a BMW. So that's extremely ironic in my mind.
One thing, though, still need to know, is the car pink or is the car red? Because I still
seriously.
It
looks pink.
You know what? This is why I missed the interference livery, because that was just colorful.
Okay. See, the interference livery was the superior livery. Of the Mercedes liveries for this weekend, the 77 had the best one because it looked like a sketch. It was cool. This one, they should have just kept the interference one. Way better. Would have been looked way cooler if they won in that one. The one they had, I was just like, is it red or is it pink? Because at certain points, it looked one, and then at other points, it looked the other, and I was like, I don't even know anymore.
I have a bit of a funny Twitter bit, though. When the livery for the 888 was announced, I think it was at Berserk Design that made that livery. I quote tweeted it and said, "Oh, I missed the interference one," which was last year. The Berserk Design page, the person who running the page actually liked my quote, and I was like, "Oh my god, they made that livery and they saw this."
They agree. They're
that's
like,
great, yeah.
We too wish it was the interference livery.
I felt so bad.
Hey, they agreed, so it's fine.
Maybe.
So moving back stateside, keeping in line with liveries, IMSA has announced that the Laguna Seca race in May is going to be a throwback weekend, and they're intending to do it like the way that NASCAR does, where it is pretty much mandatory. It is expected that it's not just going to be, the cars, it's going to be suits, they want fans to wear throwback apparel if they have it. So I know that Sports Car 365 said that PPM was supposed to run either Sunoco or DHL at Daytona. So here's hoping, PPM please, that one of those liveries runs at Laguna. We know you listen, so please do Sunoco or DHL at Laguna, please.
Yeah, well, I'm just looking at them very intensely now, saying, you want to run those liveries so bad. Both of them at the same time, preferably.
Well, that would
be cool.
That would be great.
You know what? I'm down with that. I will say, though, the vibes I got for this, because obviously NASCAR is also IMSA. NASCAR took away the throwback requirement in NASCAR. So it seems like they've decided that since
to do it
not doing it in NASCAR, they're making IMSA do it instead.
Now
I will say, last time IMSA did throwback liveries, in 19, it was pretty good. So I have high hopes for this.
Yeah, it's very well documented that I vibe with retro stuff. So that weekend is gonna be amazing in that regard. I'm just trying to think though, like, what in the world are Wayne Taylor, MSR? What in the world are they going to run? Are we gonna get pink car again just for one race? I was
gonna say, yeah, Aries. I want pink car so badly. anything's better than Bitcoin car, please.
What is Wheeling
Please,
Engineering
MSR.
going to run? Because they've always had the same colors.
They'll
That
figure
is a
it
good
out.
question. They will.
It's you know what?
They'll
The
run
vibes?
some GM throwback, like
Yeah, but
something.
no,
it may be
Aries.
something that ran on a Corvette,
and I'd be okay with that. But Aries,
Sure,
it gives
yeah,
the vibe
yeah,
of so in hockey for like the Stadium Series and the Winter Classics, they're supposed to do like retro or throwback inspired jerseys, but the last few ones they've been like, we're gonna have this team that's brand new to the league do this game, so they have nothing to throw back to. It's giving that vibe.
Yeah, I've been mentioning lots of memes today, so this is like that Tom and Jerry meme where Tom is just like this.
Yes.
Yes.
Clueless.
But yeah, I'm interested to see what teams do. All I'm saying is MSR, you want to make the car pink. Okay? There we go. But speaking of liveries, TF Sport, literally right after our episode last week, announced their liveries. And might I say, in my opinion, best liveries on the grid. One,
The
they're
Corvettes
metallic.
for WEC, by the way.
Yes, the Corvettes for WEC.
TF Sport runs like multiple
Yes!
cars in multiple series. We do need to clarify. We mean the TF Sport Corvettes in WEC.
I was getting there. They're metallic. They're very beautiful. But also, finally, both Corvettes aren't going to look exactly alike, so we're going to be able to tell apart easier. Because Team Turkey is doing red. So part of it's metallic and part isn't. And then Ben Keating's car is fully metallic yellow, and TF Sport basically said the decision to do metallic liveries is because of Ben Keating's helmet. So Ben Keating.
Yeah, it's the Wins yellow. It is that Wins metallic yellow that he uses.
Yes, thank you for using metallic, because you have given me beautiful Corvettes. This is up there as definitely some of my favorite Corvette liveries. Obviously, Chrome Vet and Mobile One is up there too, but these are great. I might be a little biased though, because I just like Corvettes.
Really? Yeah.
We would have never known.
Metallic liveries are superior. We mentioned, okay, I know we might be stuck in this for a bit, but because we did mention it last week, but we were on about DHL being mustard. Does this mean that TF Sport is metallic ketchup and mustard?
So, does this mean, like, I'm imagining, like, a child got some glitter, mixed it in with the ketchup and mustard.
Yeah, pretty much that mental image.
To IndyCar. So, last week, like, right after we recorded, IndyCar decided that they were giving a charter to each engine manufacturer starting in 2028 to run like a factory effort car. MSR is doing Hondas, so I guess we know that MSR is locked in with Honda for the absolute long run, and that is not changing. And then Chevy has not announced who they're going to use. I think everybody's initial assumption when this got like leaked / pre-announced was it was going to be a Ganassi Penske thing. But which MSR getting it still means that it is basically going to be a Ganassi car. It just isn't going to be CGR running it. So it'll be interesting to see who Chevy pick.
Which is why I still can't remember if Foyt is or isn't connected to Penske still.
Anymore. Yeah. Yeah,
if
I can't
they
either.
are, if they are.
Yeah, and if they continue to be by 2028, they would be logical, but who knows? Penske could have a new friend by then.
Yeah. I don't know. That was just like, I was like, wouldn't surprise me if it ends up being Foyt, because it does seem like it's going to be one of the, like, smaller teams. But it wouldn't surprise me if Foyt still is with Penske, that it would end up being Foyt, considering MSR is with CGR and got the Honda one. MSR, though, I wasn't surprised got the Honda one, considering how much involvement they have with Honda. It made a lot of sense.
I will not be shocked at all if Kakuota is the driver for this car. He's obviously an open wheel stud, so would be very logical move for him.
You have a point there.
Wouldn't be shocked if he's not with Ganassi next year in Indy Next as prep work for that, because MSR doesn't have an Indy Next team as of right now.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be shocked if he was with Ganassi for 2027 as prep to be the Honda factory IndyCar driver in 2028.
Yeah,
and
especially since he's
Kaku's awesome.
Yeah, especially since he has done testing in IndyCar. So
yeah,
makes sense as well for that reason too.
Yeah, some people when all this came out, I guess they didn't read the news properly, because I saw some people going, "Oh, this is obviously a way to allow the bigger teams to run an extra car." Like, guys, if a team that has 3 charters would take this option, they would need to downsize. They can't run 4 cars. So this is obviously like you guys.
I mean, they could. There's nothing preventing, because it's not their charter. So it is a factory charter to the engine manufacturer. So they wouldn't have to. It's just, do they have the people to? Whereas a 2-car team has the ability to, I think, a lot easier than a Penske or a Ganassi do.
Absolutely. Unless we see, I don't know, Penske doing the cliche move and downsizing to 2 cars, and then the third one is just a Chevy factory entry.
All I'm gonna say is it wouldn't surprise me one bit.
Yeah, same.
It wouldn't surprise me if Penske ran 4 cars, with one of them being the... Because, even though MSR is running it, it's not an MSR car. It is a Honda car. It's just operated by MSR, is the way that MSR's announcement made it seem. Like, they're going to be the operational partner for the Honda factory IndyCar team.
It's very kind of like their IMSA team, where the 93 is very obviously the Honda car.
So I don't think so. I really don't think so, because those are still guys with an MSR contract. They drive for MSR. When they say the 93, like Renger van de Zande is a Meyer-Shank Racing driver. So let's say Kakuota gets this Honda seat. It will be, let's just make up a number, the 82. Kakuota in the 82 Honda car is what it's going to be. It's a factory Honda car. They're not going to call it Meyer-Shank. The same way that the MSR cars are not MSR Ganassi, even though Ganassi is providing operational support to them. The same way Foyt isn't Foyt Penske, with Penske providing, or last year with Penske providing operational support. That's the intention of it. Whether it bears out that way 2 years from now, I'm not sure. But the intention is for these to be factory teams of the engine manufacturers, not a 3rd or 4th entry for a team.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I do think I can see that getting changed, just because of the fact they are having them connected with teams specifically. But speaking of teams, is still kind of unclear of Prema. Are they? Aren't they? Will they? Won't they? All question marks. There's been a lot of rumors of if they are coming back, how they would be coming back. One of them is that they are coming back, but not until Long Beach. Another is they are coming back just with only one car, and Callum's driving it. The other is they're coming back and selling the team to new investors. And then another is they just aren't returning at all. Have kind of been all the rumors going around recently.
Yeah, it's been all over the place, and obviously social media is rife with speculation. But the fact is, the full season entry list has obviously been confirmed, and they're not present. So
Yes.
some are saying that Indy might take this opportunity to reduce the full season cap to 25 cars as early as this year, because they've had that as a sort of goal since the charter system was announced. I don't know I don't think so, but still, I think a Prema return is a bit something a bit long in the tooth right now.
Yeah.
And,
obviously,
to jump back to the engine charters, it obviously shows that IndyCar does want to be a good old boys club. It wants it to be for people that are already involved, because they were not willing to expand charters to a new team when a new team joined in the first year of the charter system, namely Prema, but they were magically able to conjure up 2 new charters for the engine suppliers, which I'm sure was part of getting the engine suppliers to agree to a long-term deal, since, Honda has been iffy about how long they want to be committed with IndyCar. But, they can have they'll have a 2-year 25 car cap, and then it'll go up to a mandatory 27, because they are chartered teams. They will be eligible for the leaders circle. They are fully in it. It's not a bump system. It's not if there are too many cars, you're not in. No, these are chartered cars. So they get all the same guarantees as the chartered teams do. So it really was about keeping Prema out.
Yeah, it does also in a way feel like Prema being an international team. And yes, they did build a headquarters and everything in Indianapolis eventually, but there was always talks about Prema being an international team, and if IndyCar was really interested in that aspect, does kind of seem like that is now a thing. I will also say, in the talks of Prema coming back, they already have had people from the Prema organization who were involved with driver development side of things leave and go to other IndyCar teams. And their reserve driver is now a coin driver. So people from within Prema have left the organization to go to IndyCar teams, to other IndyCar teams. So that is another point.
Briscoe is somewhere different this year, and
yes,
Roman is somewhere different this year. And those were their 2 big behind the scenes guys.
Exactly. Those were their 2 big guys to help Robert, especially because he was new, but also to help Callum. Obviously, in the situation of the 2 drivers, the one that does win out a little bit more is Callum, in the sense that he does have a full-time IMSA seat, so he still is doing something. If Prema doesn't come back, obviously, Robert Schwartzman in this situation kind of has gotten screwed over, in the sense that Prema promised him a multi-year situation, and it doesn't seem like it's going to come through. And he left the entire Ferrari program for this, which is unfortunate. Considering he was in the yellow Ferrari, he left the yellow Ferrari, and then the yellow Ferrari won Le Mans.
I feel like he was going to be out of that car either way, honestly. Robert's a good driver, but Phil Hansen is a phenomenal driver. They wanted Phil in that car. Robert was losing that seat, whether he chose to go to IndyCar or not. He probably would have ended up in one of their GT cars, though, with the potential ability. I mean, Pierre Guidi's not young. Kubica's not young. You know, I assume Phil and Yafei are both going to move into a red car sooner rather than later. And that would have been a great way for Robert to get back into the hypercar. So,
exactly.
I mean, that's possibly still, because he left them amicably. He could potentially still get back with their GT program and work his way back in. I mean, he's still a race-winning WEC driver. Yeah, he wasn't in the Le Mans car last year, but he did win COTA 2 years ago. He is still a race-winning WEC driver. And there are a lot of drivers in WEC that cannot say that.
Yeah, just definitely, though, unfortunate with how all of this played out. Also, I just wanted Prema to, like, succeed, and seeing it basically fail after a year is rather unfortunate, because it's definitely a brand that was very well known within motorsports for success. So for it not to pan out is rather unfortunate. But moving on, Bathurst wasn't the only race this weekend. There was also the Daytona 500. It also was chaotic, with the fact that before the race even started, we had to move the race up an hour, because we were gonna get a very bad rainstorm, which can confirm the very bad rainstorm did happen. It was very bad.
Connor Zilich's fault.
Yeah, I think Connor did not obtain the sage in time.
Mm-hmm.
And so he continued his weather curse, and they had to move up the race for it a little bit, which apparently it did sprinkle a little during the race, but not significantly. So that happened. But also, even before the race itself, practices, qualifying, there was chaos in the fact that Fox, you're proving everyone right when we say you are the worst broadcaster out of all of the NASCAR broadcasters that we get throughout the season. Because your graphics, one, happy you finally went away from the cartoons. Thank you for that. But maybe get, like, the manufacturers and the teams correct. Because there was, like, one graphic. Chase Elliott was apparently driving for Team Chase Elliott, with the car manufacturer being Chase Elliott. Penske was Chevy. Hendrick was Ford and Toyota. Don't know how that's working out.
Nice.
But okay. There was just no one. I think like 2 drivers had the correct team and manufacturer. It was bad. And then your 7-time champion of your series is in this race, okay? You can't even spell his name correctly.
Don't you mean the Dallas Cowboys' former head coach, Jimmy Johnson, was in the race? Because that's who they spelled it as.
Yes. Instead of it ending in IE, they ended it in Y. You would think, you'd know how to spell your 7-time champion's name.
No, what do you mean? It doesn't mean the same thing, right? Just because it's pronounced the same way. Like, oh my god, I'm shaking my head right now.
I'm just, especially, Jimmy announced that he's retiring at this race, so he announced that Daytona in 2027, the 500 next year, will be his last race. Very sad, because Jimmy's been my driver since I was a kid. And so then it just felt like an extra punch when they couldn't even spell his name correctly. But yeah. To the race itself, Priest, for once at Daytona, got lucky.
Finished.
And he finished. Not in the air either. He didn't go airborne. He was on the track. However, he did finish it by driving backwards. Because he said he was so determined to finish this race because, you know, he hasn't really been able to on the fact that he's been airborne the last few times. He was so determined to finish at Daytona that when the big one at the end happened and his car was backwards from the impact, he just kept going. He was like, I'll put it in reverse and I'm crossing that finish line. It was great.
No, it was great actually. Like the video, the thingy NASCAR posted with the people all around, like the team members all congratulating Tyler Reddick on winning, and then Priest just goes backwards in the background like,
yeah,
that was perfect.
It was great. It was also the most Priest way to finish a race.
Definitely.
But speaking of the finish of the race, the Daytona 500 in the last few rounds, there's been a big discussion around deserving winners of the Daytona 500 because people don't think that the way Byron won the last two 500s was like a deserving way of winning the race. What are we defining as a deserving way to win the race? Because are we determining that Tyler Reddick is a deserving winner since he didn't lead a lap until the very end? Like, what is our criteria here of people saying there are deserving and undeserving winners of the 500? Where are you grouping this one?
Daytona 500 has become the most boring NASCAR race on the schedule the past several years. Like, you don't need to watch it. Like, you seriously can just watch the crash highlight on the final lap and, oh, there's who won. Like, nothing else about the race matters. And it's just, oh, there they go, 3 wide forever.
I will say, as someone who was out for most of the afternoon on Sunday, I got home in time to watch the start of the final stage, and all I watched was the final stage. It didn't feel like I missed a lot.
You didn't miss anything. Nope,
I didn't miss
you
much.
didn't.
You missed like the other big one, and that was pretty much it. But yeah, it's just I'm getting tired of people picking and choosing when we're determining drivers that are deserving of wins and drivers that aren't deserving of wins. A win is a win, no matter how you get it. That's my hot take, I guess.
And then Formula E had their like influencer Evo session thing this weekend, which is a cool idea as far as getting additional eyes onto FE that like never would have heard of it otherwise. The problem is that the way that they went about it this year was not good. A track like Jeddah that like professional drivers say Jeddah is a hard track. So it's not a good track to be having influencers on. Put them like, I don't know, like I know people hate on Paul Ricard, but put them there, you know, with 1 billion miles of runoff everywhere. Yes. So that if they go off track, it's little to no issue. There's a reason that track is used for testing. Yes. And that is why. You have insane amounts of runoff. So, you know, maybe put an influencer session somewhere like that. You know, there were 2 major crashes. Obviously, Izzy Hammonds is getting most of the notoriety. A Hammond crashing who would have guessed? She's really living up to her name, especially, in an electric car. So
you went there.
I am like one of the biggest Richard Hammond fans on the planet. So yes, as we know, I am very willing to roast people that I like. So yes. But
no,
there is absolutely...
I haven't drawn the parallels. That was a good point you made.
I had
there is
anything,
absolutely no way they should do this next year with the Gen 4 car.
No.
When, like, you have people saying that the Gen 4 car is an absolute rocket ship. And I get it. They can create different engine modes to make it fast or, like, slower for these. But, I mean, at that point, why? Just put them out there in this car again and put them at a track that works a little better. But yeah, I mean, I think it was Denny Nkadea that said how long until someone gets hurt, and I have to agree with him. How long until someone gets hurt doing one of these Evo sessions? And is it worth it for the clicks? I don't know, that's up to F1 or FE to decide.
Yeah, I will say, if you want, like, good opinions about this whole Evo session, Danny's opinions throughout the whole session, because he had multiple, were, like, pretty spot on. This isn't the first Evo session they've done, and it feels like every Evo session they've done, there's been crashes in it, of having, like, influencers behind the cars. In my opinion, it was never a smart idea. I get we're doing this to grow. I think the idea is good. I think the idea is good. I think the execution is bad, is my takeaway from it. I think there are other ways to be growing your series than throwing influencers behind the same car you're putting your race car drivers in that have been racing for almost their entire lives. As much as everyone hated on NASCAR for their influencer thing, at least that was digital, so nobody could get injured, all I'm gonna say. But there's other ways to grow your series than putting people's lives at risk.
I mean, you can always go, you can always go to a place like the Bonneville Salt Flats, and there's no barriers over there. Just run something over there. That would probably look ridiculous, but hey, there is nothing to hit for miles on end, so no one's gonna get hurt there.
We need to be planning this better if we're gonna keep doing this, because it's not being planned well. It felt like there was zero thought behind this at all.
With that, thanks for listening. You can find us on Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram at Orange Flag Pod. Nicole is at Nicole in Racing. Auston is at Auston Trackside. Aries is at Aries_Alpenglow. Stay orange.